Okay, what up, family? So, as you can tell by the title of this video, what we about to get into, and my thoughts initially when reading some of these articles. Of course, I was disturbed, but it's just peculiar how you will hear things about the guy Jesse lying about a white supremacist beating him up, and then you will hear stories about R. Kelly and him with underage girls or whatever, but it's like they won't really touch on some of these, so I just felt the need to. So anyway, this article is from the Kansas City Star, and the title of the article states, "Alleged white supremacist accused of killing woman in Shawnee is ordered to trial." So now I'm gonna just read a little bit of this article, and it says a man who compared his rage to The Exorcist was ordered to trial Tuesday for the killing of a woman last summer in Shawnee. Ronald Lee Kidwell is charged in Johnson County District Court with intentional second degree murder in the death of Michonne Cooper. Cooper, 43, was found dead last July. Her body was stuffed into a trash can that was found in the garage of the Shawnee home where Kidwell lived. Her artery in her neck had been severed and she had suffered multiple cuts and stab wounds to the neck and face, according to testimony at a preliminary hearing in court Tuesday. This was a very angry, violent encounter, Assistant District Attorney Jason Covington said. According to testimony, Kidwell gave police several different versions of what happened to Cooper before finally telling them that he killed her in a rage after she threatened to tell people he was HIV positive. Shawnee Police Detective Matt Skeeping said Kidwell told investigators the following: "When I get mad, I make the exorcist look like a bitch." After the killing, the FBI said it was investigating to determine if Kidwell could also be prosecuted for a federal hate crime. Kidwell, 48, is white, and Michonne Cooper, is black. All right, so now this article, one thing it points out is that Kidwell's daughter had told the Star that he was a white supremacist who had a history of assaulting black people. An FBI spokesman said there were no updates on the hate crime investigation. There was no testimony about it at Tuesday's hearing. It states after the hearing, District Judge Timothy McCarthy ruled there was enough evidence to proceed to trial. He set a scheduling conference for March 27th for Kidwell, who was jailed on $1 million bond. So, family, like, just looking back on this now, if his daughter had told this newspaper columnist, I think her name is Katie Bernard, that her father had a history of assaulting black people, like, what is there more to investigate for the FBI to determine if this one would be charged as a hate crime? I mean, I would think so. But it's sad, and we gotta, keep an eye open for each other because getting distracted with some of this nonsense is crazy. And like I said, you got the guy Jesse. He running around talking about what some white supremacists did, and it's real people out here, real racists killing people uh, every day. So I'm gonna let y'all take uh, a little peek at this video. They got him testifying in the preliminary hearing, and then we just gonna get into the next one. All right.
Susan was wearing once her body was removed from the trash can.
Yes, she was wearing a Subway t-shirt, blue patterned underwear, and a blue patterned bra.
And she was ultimately identified as Michonne Cooper, is that correct?
That's correct.
You have in front of you a stack of photographs. I'm going to start with State's Exhibit number 4. Could you tell the court what we see there in State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes, this is a photograph after the trash bags had been cut open by Dr. Glenn, and you can see her body exposed.
Do you recall how many trash bags Miss Cooper's body was wrapped in?
Yes, there were 6 total.
We're looking for Michonne Cooper and that she was missing, is that correct?
That is correct.
And during your interview with Mr. Kidwell, did he provide with you in the beginning of where he believed Ms. Cooper was?
Yes, he did.
And what did he say?
He told us that she was in Kansas City, Missouri, at a dope man's house.
And specifically, he said she was not missing and that she was at a drug house in Kansas City, Missouri. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did you talk with him during this interview and determine how long Mr. Kidwell had known Ms. Cooper?
Yes, we did.
And what did he say as far as the length of their relationship?
Approximately 3 weeks.
And did he tell you where he had met Ms. Cooper?
Yes, he did.
And what did he say?
He said that they had met, as I mentioned, a few weeks prior at a Dollar General store in Shawnee.
And then what does he tell you actually occurred?
He explained to us that there was an argument at the house in Shawnee, that this argument stemmed from a previous incident where a neighbor had made an allegation against Ms. Cooper for stealing items from her house across the street. And that when he confronted Ms. Cooper about this allegation of theft, that she was going to disclose a health status of his to that neighbor.
And what was it specifically about this health status that upset him?
That he was HIV positive.
And so, did he tell you whether this upset him that she was going to tell you this?
He said it made him very upset.
And he claimed to you and Detective Kincello that she said what about that knowledge of the HIV status? What was she going to do with that information?
That she was going to tell everybody.
Now, this argument about the theft and the disclosure of the health information, did he tell you if that occurred at the residence?
Yes, in Shawnee at his residence.
And so at this point in the interview, the information about going to the Kansas City, Missouri police, or the Kansas City, Missouri, and the other individuals who stomped on her and those sort of things, he has said that that's not the case, correct?
Correct.
So now we're focused primarily on a disagreement between him and Ms. Cooper and no one else in the residence, correct?
That's right.
Okay, family. So now, like I was saying, as far as in Chicago, you know, you hearing about Jussie and all of that, but in my, you know, from my perception, the way I see it, that's a distraction, and the distraction is the fact. I mean, distracting folks away from the fact that it's a serial killer on the loose in Chicago, like, and you know, they do a lot when it comes to, you know, I mean, to be serious, you know, let it be 50 or so poodles or something that come up missing. I mean, or end up, you know, come up missing and found dead. They'll do all types of investigations to find out the cause, get down to the bottom of it. I mean, that's poodles. So, and now you got, you know, this situation in Chicago that's going on. It's been going on for a while. I tried to post a couple of videos about it, but you know, after a while, man, I mean, it's disturbing and it's hard to really deal with knowing that, you know, black women and they're like you know, they drug abusers or sex workers or something like that, but it's plenty of cases where it's young girls that's not that, and they coming up missing, and you know, and they just not reporting it really at all. I mean, you know, it'd be a little bit probably if you're from that area, but it need to be nationwide. I mean, you know, it'll be on the nighttime news, all types of, you know, they'll tell you about a whale getting found in the Amazon, like all types of crazy shit. But this going on, you know, they'd rather tell you about R. Kelly, you know, committing some type of act with some underage girl while underage girls are coming up missing. Like, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm gonna just share this video that I had noticed, you know, in this article, and then you know y'all take it from there. But like I said, the media, man, they terrible. They absolutely terrible. Like you know, and then the social media. I mean, some of those cats, man, y'all be seeing it like timeline full of this gay guy wearing a dress. I mean, like, what in the hell? And at the same time, it's revolts in Haiti. Is police getting arrested and charged with child porn and raping underage kids. Like, I mean, and it's like, if you don't read and look into the articles, you know, the news, I mean, it's ridiculous. So, all right, anyway, to the point, family, I'm going to let y'all check this video out that's attached to this article I had seen from, I believe it's Channel 2 and CBS in Chicago. So, just check this out and notice, it's a map. I'm gonna attach that as well. I think I'm gonna try to show it to you real quick while I'm talking. But it's a map here. Let me see if I can get this panned in right. But this map, when you look at some of the locations of where these women are coming up missing, I mean, and then you consider like where this so-called Jussie attack occurred, like, man, you totally distracting the public, and the police is more than willing to do a thorough investigation on him. But now look at all of these dots, family. Like, I mean, you know, I don't even know how much you got to do to connect these dots. I mean, that's pretty easy. But I mean, you know, and they got all the names of the individuals. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Unsolved female strangulations. I mean, and then we know about the organ trafficking going on up out of Chicago, legally done. And I'm saying that by, you know, they coroner whenever it's a case that's brought in front of them or somebody dying under questionable circumstances. I mean, they get an opportunity to do whatever they want to with the organ. So, but okay, family, I'm gonna let y'all check this video out, and I'm out of here. All right, peace. Keep an eye on your loved ones, and stay safe.
Some have been raped, others beaten.
Dozens of women who were all strangled or asphyxiated. Their cases remain unsolved. Now, as CBS 2 investigator Pam Zeckman reports, a serial killer may be on the loose in Chicago.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Their bodies were found in vacant lots, abandoned buildings, and alleys, some dumped in garbage cans, and some even set on fire.
It could be anybody's sister. It could be anybody's daughter. It can happen to anybody, not just to my family.
Audrey Blenstrup's beloved oldest sister, Gwendolyn Williams, was one of the victims.
She kept us out of the streets, and she kept the streets away from us. She was our protector.
But she was the one who needed protection in 2002. Williams' body was found half-dressed, covered in blood, with drugs and alcohol in her system, along with semen from recent sexual activity. There was also skin under her nails.
She was fighting for her life. That's the first thing we all thought to ourselves. She was not going to go down without a fight.
For years, her sisters have been fighting for police to catch her killer.
We loved her very much.
We asked the Murder Accountability Project to review more than 50 unsolved strangulation and asphyxiation cases we found dating back to 2001. The group has a knack for finding patterns in unsolved murder cases using a computer algorithm.
For many years, our algorithm has been signaling red alert about a series of strangulations in Chicago.
Hargrove showed us how he plotted the more than 50 unsolved cases.
Those are the three killing fields, South Side, far South Side, and Chicago's West Side. Disproportionately, these victims are women who have had a history of sex work and who have had a history of illegal drug use.
The cases drop off in 2014, suggesting to Hargrove the killer may have gone to jail temporarily.
The pattern started again in 2017 and have continued with a vengeance into 2018.
Over those 2 years, Diamond Turner, Catherine Satterfield Buchanan, Valerie Marie Jackson, Laura Dawn Harbin, and Nicole Linnell Ridge were killed. Ridge still memorialized near the abandoned garage where she was murdered. All strangled, all declared homicides by the medical examiner. But Rio Renee Holyfield's death last September is in limbo. Streets and sand workers found her in a garbage container.
Her body was dumped in a garbage can.
She's not trash, she's loved by many.
Circumstances suggest the death could have been a homicide by asphyxiation, the autopsy report says, but her body was too decomposed to definitely tell. Her cause of death undetermined, so the police classified it as a suspended death investigation.
Does that add to the pain, not knowing what happened?
I feel like razor blades. It hurt even worse.
It is highly unlikely that these 50 women were murdered by 50 separate men.
His warning to Gary, Indiana police proved accurate in 2014. After Darren Dion Van was charged with strangling a 19-year-old prostitute in Hammond, he confessed to murdering 6 other women in Gary, a pattern Hargrove pointed out to Gary police in 2010.
We think it's extremely likely that there are common killer or killers in the Chicago series, as it was proven to be in Gary, Indiana.
But the Chicago Police Department says that at this time, it has no actionable evidence of a pattern that would point to a serial killer.
Recently, Gwendolyn Williams' sisters were told Chicago police thought they found her killer. DNA evidence matched a suspect. That suspect was convicted in Detroit in 1980 for armed robbery and again in 2014 for check fraud.
I was relieved that finally we knew who it was.
In September, the suspect was arrested in Tampa on a warrant for first-degree murder in Williams's case. The sisters were told that in an interview with Chicago police, that suspect denied killing Williams or even being in Chicago. New DNA tests did confirm he was with her, but the Cook County State's Attorney's Office decided not to extradite him.
I just hope and pray that something would be done to get him off the streets.
Hargrove hopes his research will help police find whoever may be involved in these cases. Meanwhile,
sex workers, that women who habitually use illegal drugs, should think that there's a target on them, because there is.
The Chicago Police Department refused to do an on-camera interview. It does say that detectives continue to investigate all open cases, including pursuing new leads and monitoring DNA profiles. The CBS 2 investigators are not giving up. We will be following up with law enforcement on this issue. Robin, Erica.
So if there was a DNA match, why didn't the state's attorney extradite this man?
As we understand it, they wanted more evidence that he actually killed her. There was evidence that they had sexual activity together, but they're looking for more evidence. The case is still under investigation.
So they may do something, they just can't or won't do it right now with the DNA evidence.
Correct.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.